Hello, Christ is in our midst. I'm Father Kevin Long of St. Elias, St. Joachim Orthodox Church in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Today is Thursday, October 23rd, 2025, and here are the readings for today.
A reading from St. Paul's letter to the Galatians, chapter 1, verses 11 through 19. Brethren, I would have you know that the gospel which was preached by me is not man's gospel. For I did not receive it from man, nor was I taught it, but it came through a revelation of Jesus Christ. For you have heard of my former life in Judaism, how I persecuted the church of God violently and tried to destroy it. And I advanced in Judaism beyond many of my own age among my people, so extremely zealous was I for the traditions of my fathers. But when he who had set me apart before I was born, and had called me through his grace, was pleased to reveal his Son to me, in order that I might preach him among the Gentiles, I did not confer with flesh and blood, nor did I go up to Jerusalem to those who were apostles before me, but I went away into Arabia, and again I returned to Damascus. Then after 3 years I went up to Jerusalem to visit Cephas, and remained with him 15 days. But I saw none of the other apostles except James, the Lord's brother. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew, chapter 13, verses 54 through 58. Let us be attentive. At that time Jesus came to his own country, and taught the people in their synagogue, so that they were astonished, and said, Where did this man get his wisdom and these mighty works? Is this not the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary? And are not his brothers James and Joseph and Simon and Judas? And are not all his sisters with us? Where then did this man get all this? And they took offense at him. But Jesus said to them, A prophet is not without honor except in his own country and in his own house. And he did not do many mighty works there, because of their unbelief. Glory to thee, our God, glory to thee.
In today's epistle, the Apostle Paul speaks with striking clarity about the source of his apostleship. I did not receive it from man, nor was I taught it, but it came through a revelation of Jesus Christ. This revelation reorients his entire life. It is not second-hand religion. It is not a belief system picked up from tradition or from culture. St. Paul speaks of a divine interruption, a breaking in of the living Christ, and the result of the radical transformation of a persecutor into a proclaimer. And here, almost hidden, is the detail we pause on today. After his conversion, St. Paul tells us that he went up to Jerusalem to visit Cephas, who is Peter, and remained with him for 15 days. But I saw none of the other apostles except James, the Lord's brother. James, not one of the 12, but a pillar of the early church. He grew up in the same household as Jesus. He likely shared meals with him, heard his voice in the ordinary rhythms of family life. And yet we are told in the Gospels that his own did not believe in him. St. James, too, had to undergo a revelation, not of a man he once knew, but of the glorified Christ, risen and triumphant. According to Holy Tradition, it was the risen Lord himself who appeared to St. James, as seen in 1 Corinthians 15:7, transforming the natural brother into a spiritual father of the church. James became Bishop of Jerusalem, the leader of the Mother Church, a man of such prayer and righteousness that he was called James the Just. His knees were said to be as hard as camels from the long hours of kneeling and intercession. And yet the gospel today reminds us of how easily this miraculous thing is obscured by the familiar. Is this not the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary, it says in the Gospel of St. Matthew today. The people of Nazareth could not receive Christ because they thought that they already knew him. Their knowledge closed their hearts. how much of this temptation touches us as well. We grow up with the scriptures, with the services, with the icons, and the feasts and the fasts, and we risk becoming over familiar with the sacred, as if Christ were a doctrine to be managed or a symbol to be admired, rather than the incarnate God who confronts us, transforms us, and sends us trembling to our knees. The Apostle James could have clung to the memory of his childhood, dismissing his brother as a strange and tragic figure. Instead, he received the revelation, not of flesh and blood Christ only, but the Christ of glory, crucified and risen, who redefines everything. And this is the same Christ who calls to us. So let us allow today to shake us a little, to question how much of our Christianity is secondhand. Do we live from a revelation of Christ, or from habit, nostalgia, or some form of vague admiration? The Apostle James stands before us not only as a leader, but as a convert, one who was brought low and also was raised up, one who knew Jesus according to the flesh and came to know him as Lord and God. May we follow the same path, from familiarity to reverence, from assumption to wonder, from knowing about Christ to being known by him. And through the prayers and intercessions of the Holy Apostle James, O Christ our God, have mercy on us and save us. Amen. Have a great day, and God willing, we'll see you tomorrow.